Podcast. Fun Box Podcast. Fun Box Podcast. It's the Fun Box Podcast and stuff.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fun Box Podcast. My name is Rob Webb. Today, with me, we have a special guest. He is the author of Haunted Lorain County. This book right here. He also is the owner and the founder of Scarlet Transportation and Adventure Tours, which is really cool. He's from Lorain. I'm from Lorain. His name is Eric Defibaugh.
Nope, no G.
Oh,
silent.
Defibaugh.
Defibaugh. There you go.
I should have.
That's cool.
I knew
That's
I should have asked you before I started this. Anyway,
Trust me, it's been worse.
Organic.
You did okay.
Defibaugh. All right, here we go. But yeah, dude, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Like I said, he's author of the Lorain County, Haunted Lorain County. I love this book, man. A lot of different things in it that I didn't know about. You talked about the Lorraine Lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody got buried inside of it.
Well, that's the legend, right? That's
The legend is somebody was
one of the workers disappeared,
entombed inside the foundation or the building of this structure.
Yeah,
I love it,
So the
dude.
story goes.
Oh yeah, my girlfriend also got this shirt.
I was going to comment on that. Nice.
I
like it.
don't mess with these. We
Yeah.
have one in our closet.
Yeah.
I don't mess with it, dude.
But you'll wear it.
I'll wear it just for today. I won't even wear this other than today.
Okay.
Because I just can't do it.
I wouldn't burn it if I were you.
Yeah, I don't know. Something might release. I'll make like summon demons on my chest.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, first I'm just gonna ask you some questions and we'll flow. Man, it's so much I want to talk about, dude. Mm-hmm. What sparked your interest in the paranormal?
Art Bell.
Art Bell. Love Art Bell.
Yeah. I was kind of a curious kid, you know, and I discovered Art Bell one night after an Indians game, you know, on WTAM. It wasn't TAM back then. It was 3WE, actually. And right away I'm hooked, you know. Art Bell, like, not only was his like the area of topics, like he ranged pretty far out there, but he was so good at what he did, you know, as far as like being an interviewer and bringing about like the guests he brought on. Yeah. But that started right there.
I know a lot of the stuff he covered, people ended up trying to debunk later on. Mm-hmm. But even when he covered it, I remember being a kid, and when the internet was first coming out, and you would have to like really look for certain things. Back in like the late '90s, I was so into it. The sounds from hell, like, gave me nightmares.
Yeah.
Like when those I don't know, what was it, Russian or German guys they were trying to record the tectonic plates or something in the ground or something, and they heard these screams, and they ended up debunking that. But it was the creepiest thing. Art Bell was like nowadays it's like Joe Rogan kind of took that throne.
Yeah.
The only thing, he doesn't cover a lot of paranormal stuff, which blows my mind, because he'll cover a guy that believes he worked on antimatter technology in Area 51.
Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar, but he won't cover people that believe in ghosts, which I think are way more, there's way more evidence of that in people's everyday life than antimatter technology.
Yeah. So alien people and ghost people are actually it's a different crowd. There is some
different thing.
There's some intersection there, but there's I don't know, like the whole government conspiracy thing with the whole Area 51 thing. That to me, the government does nothing but lie to you. So,
right.
You know, that's evidence in itself in my mind. Yeah. Bob Lazar is an interesting guy too, though. He's pretty convincing.
I know. I don't know what to think, honestly.
Yeah, I consider myself on all these topics, Bigfoot and paranormal in general, an open-minded skeptic. Yeah. So I treat it. I always tell people I treat it like I do politicians. I'm pretty sure you're full of shit, but I'm willing to let you convince me otherwise.
Right.
Yeah. But
even a good politician can prove a monkey can talk sometimes to some people. Like, oh my God. Yeah. But the
thing with Joe Rogan is like he talks about, he's very dismissive of people that believe in this stuff, and I'm kind of surprised by that because he's generally open-minded.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a regular listener to his podcast, but I do enjoy it. A lot of times it depends on the guest and the topic, but yeah, like to hear him talk to. Like one of the most convincing things about the Bigfoot thing is to hear Les Stroud talk about it. Now,
Who's Les Stroud?
Les Stroud is Survivor Man.
Oh, okay.
So you're talking about a guy who spent a significant portion of his life living in the most remote wilderness corners of the world, and he's got certain things that he can't explain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a guy with a reputation to lose.
Right,
you know?
exactly. And you were saying that in the book about like I don't know, Teddy Roosevelt or somebody. Like there's presidents and just real high standing people that have a lot to lose with being called a lunatic.
Yeah.
For seeing things or witnessing certain things. Like orbs. Do you believe in orbs?
So the orb thing is, from my understanding, so I've learned a lot since with Scarlet Transportation we do the ghost tours, and I've really learned. Excuse me. I've learned how like investigators go about, like legitimate investigators, people that take this seriously, and I've learned from them that orbs, the way to differentiate between dust and something a little bit more, substantial, is if it's emanating its own light. So you look at the shadows, right? And now, if it's refracting light back at you, it's probably dust or something in the air.
Right.
So, yeah, we've gotten some interesting pictures. We used to hold a photo contest on the bus when we do those ghost tours, and people send us some pretty amazing things. And some of it's kind of difficult to. We look to debunk first.
Yeah.
We try to keep it as legit as we can. But some of the photos are pretty damn good.
Right. Yeah. A lot of times you can debunk something. There's some things that are just unbelievably like unexplainable. I have my own events. I have my own like little. I've witnessed certain things that I just cannot explain.
Yeah. I think everybody has.
Yeah, like somebody calling my name or whispering or cold spots, things like that.
I talk a little bit about it in the book. It's people's natural inclination to try to rationalize everything.
Yeah.
And there's so much more to our surroundings that we're not even perceiving, And every once in a while we tap into that, and like people either tend to ignore it completely or, try to dismiss it as something else.
Right. Did you ever experience anything yourself?
A couple things. Not as a child, but we've had one of the stories in the book is my own personal story, and is actually has to do with the ghost tours.
Oh yeah, I was going to get to that. Was that about the Jeff Hastings man?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'll get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, let's talk about that. That was weird. I don't know how, because I've even had my brother say he picked up a hitchhiker guy, and he was just weirded him out, and then he dropped him off, and then he like disappeared when he went. It was I can't explain the story, but those testimonies of actually seeing and talking to a physical, tangible being.
I shook the guy's hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
No, so the interesting part of the story that's not in the book, it actually happened after. I was given a talk at the Elyria Public Library about the book, and afterwards I take questions, and a young lady raises her hand. I call on her, and she asked me if I changed his name. Of course I did. Right? That's Jeff Hastings is not his name.
Oh, it's not his real name. Okay.
Not his real name. I don't want to say his name publicly because he is a real person.
Okay.
It was her uncle. This girl at the library. So we emailed a couple times back and forth afterwards. They feel that he's been trying to reach out to them ever since that happened. So
wow.
If you do a little research, you can come up with the guy yourself.
So I guess we'll like get everybody up to speed on what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Jeff Hastings was a man you met at the rest stop.
The rest area, right around the corner here.
Yeah, the right before you get to 60.
That's right.
If you're going, east or westbound.
Westbound.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you were taking your tour there, and it was a good spot. There's vending places, people stretch their legs, hang out.
The restroom.
The restroom,
That's
yeah.
the restroom stop.
Yeah, and you were talking to a guy that claimed to be a caretaker, and his name was Jeff Hastings. And then later to find out, you went back to talk to other people that worked there that said, no, we don't know. There is no caretaker here. There was a guy named Jeff Hastings that killed himself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly how it happened. I mean, we stopped to use the restroom, and he was curious on what we were doing. So we got in this conversation. He started telling me about all the sightings, the ghosts and things that has been sighted at the scene there. And I started thinking, this might be a perfect stop for a ghost tour. We're always on the lookout for new stops. People want to come back every year and do the same thing. Sometimes they do, but we try to keep things fresh and interesting.
Yeah.
So I asked him if he'd be willing to, sit down with us and actually we can do a little interview session, just try to get more information off him. And when I went to go back to find him, evidently that guy never existed, as far as the caretaker. So,
yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, that's something.
There's something going on. I don't know. Obviously, there's always an explanation. Even if I was talking to another guest about this, even if it is a scientific explanation to where we could even talk to JFK or something, if there's a scientific way to do it, it's got to be there. Because I'm a guy of science, I love it, but I'm also a spiritual guy. I mean, raised Baptist, fundamental Baptist my whole life, Sunday school every Sunday. I understand. I have my beliefs, but at the same time, I can't help but be so intrigued, and I can't help it. It just pulls me in.
The thing with science is that science is, by definition, the constant acquisition of information. There's no such thing as a settled science, whether you're talking about the climate or anything.
Right.
We're constantly learning. I mean, the plastic bags we're using were the solution, the environmental solution to the paper bags we were using in the 80s. Those of us old enough remember, like when this was to solve the killing of trees.
Yeah.
And now we're constantly learning. And when it comes to this stuff, I always say we're just not there yet.
No.
There's going to be a time, maybe your kids, maybe our grandkids, they're going to have a far better understanding of this stuff than we do.
Yeah, it seems the road just forks the more you go.
Sure.
And the farther you go in the universe, the further it expands.
Right.
And it just shows it's like, wow, there's so much more we don't even know.
Not even close to the tip of the iceberg.
The Hubble telescope or whatever it's called, whatever that telescope that rotates around, that orbits, man, that just proved that we're not even close to knowing. It just showed how much more we don't know.
Well, just to go back into that, in 2018, there was, what was the number? 280 new species of animals discovered. I mean, that's every year we're discovering things about our planet that we didn't know, and we've been here forever.
Right.
It's a constant evolution.
Do you do any kind of ghost hunting yourself?
No.
Any EVP sessions or?
So my experience with that, I'm not a ghost hunter.
Right.
You mentioned earlier about the book being a history book. I'm a history guy.
Yeah.
So I'm not a ghost hunter, which is why when we decided to do these ghost tours, that we hire a paranormal investigator to be the guide.
Yeah.
Because it's not just Joe Schmo holding a steering wheel telling you spooky stories.
Yeah.
This is a much more interactive experience. She brings her equipment along.
Okay.
And we go to 3 or 4 places in a night, and you get to participate in ghost hunting. So she teaches you how the equipment works, why it's what reactions and why they're happening. And we do EVP sessions, and we get EVPs every night.
Wow.
Every night.
I'm always afraid to do that. I'm always just afraid it's like me opening up myself to things I don't really care. In the moment I care for it, but these are, let's say the spirits have the wisdom of the ages to manipulate, do anything they want. I'll show myself, not when you want me to. And that's what it's like. I'm afraid that's what's going to happen to me. I'll be like, no EVP session tonight. All right, got to go to bed and wake up for work the next morning. And I see an old lady hey, here I am. I'm like, shit.
Well, I welcome the opportunity. If an old lady wants to come visit me in the morning, I'd bring
Yeah.
her, you know, like I'm curious and I'm not afraid. I've never seen anything that would cause fear, you know, and that's another thing. Like most people, they get scared, and to me, it's my curiosity overruns all that. You know, I'm not afraid in the slightest. We've had very strange occurrences happen. I'll tell you another one that's happened to us in my home. Up the stairs, I have 3 portraits of my mother, my brother, and my sister, all who have passed. Okay, and this happened a couple years ago. And at the time, we had a house guest. A friend of ours was staying at our house because her house was actually struck by lightning and it burnt to the ground. Jeez. And so she lived with us for 13 months. But anyway, so we're out on a ghost tour one night. It was a weekend in October. And we're in a cemetery in Wellington, and we get an EVP. It just says Robert, just the name Robert. Now, that's my brother's name, but that's not where my thoughts went because, one, Robert's an enormously popular name. Like, that's a very common name.
I'm Robert. I'm a Robert.
That's right. So maybe he's talking about you.
Yeah.
And another thing, we were in a cemetery where there's probably 1,500 people interred there. So, like, there's probably a couple hundred Roberts just there alone.
Right.
But what happened was, like 3 seconds after we got that EVP, my wife gets a text from our house guest, Tammy, and apologizing because she was carrying a laundry basket up the stairs. She knocked Rob's picture off the wall and sent it crashing down the stairs and shattered.
Oh, wow.
So, like, it's just those little things like that. Like that's an enormous coincidence.
It's huge. Yeah, it makes your imagination run wild after when you hear when the coincidence is so strong. Yep. Like, yeah, man. When my father passed away, it'll be 10 years on the 15th of this month, and I asked you about the Orbs thing, and I was never into that really at all at the time, and I would see them. I would see Orbs. With my own eyeballs, like in front of my face, and it would happen. It was happen a few weeks after he passed, or actually like a whole month after he passed. Every now and then I'd just be hanging out, and then I'd see like an orb like fly in front of my face, and then I'd like look at it, and then it'd just zip off.
Like would it change direction? Like
or just like zip off and wait, and I'm like something's wrong with my eye. You know, first I'm like. I'm losing my. I'm like I don't know. I don't have good electrolytes going on. I don't know what's going on. And then sometimes I'd see like black dots. Mostly though, I could see like bugs flying around, and there's no bugs in the air. I'm like, dude, I'm losing my brain. What's going on? And then a lot of times,
your retinas could be detaching, but
yeah, I could have a retina being detached. That sucks.
Aside from that, like. You know, what was happening to you in your head, it's a natural mechanism. It's a human defense mechanism. Your brain automatically tries to rationalize everything.
Yep.
You know, and the more you allow that to happen, the less you are aware of things that have happened to you.
Yeah.
You know, if you can somehow fight that off, then you start noticing a lot more weird things going on around you.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people, like I remember being at a party and one of my friends were like, somebody pulled my hat down. Did you pull my hat down? I'm like, no, I didn't touch your hat. And he just let it go. And everybody just kind of lets it go.
Yeah.
But type of person I am, I'm just like, no. Why did that happen? No, let's get to the bottom of this. Somebody pulled your hat down.
Yeah.
Why? And I remember hanging out with my friend. Somebody kicked his, like, a chair kind of like this, and it was next to us, and somebody kicked it, and it popped up. I didn't touch it. He didn't touch it. It was just sitting right there. Why did that happen?
Right.
I don't know. And just those little things, like something flying off the table or something. Yeah. Tiny little things like that. A lot of people just dismiss and go, yeah, whatever. Or auditory hallucinations people might have with dissonant sounds. I don't know if you could get this, but when you're washing the dishes, say there's like a then you'll hear something in the living room. I hear that. I do that a lot. Like I'll be washing dishes or taking a shower and hear laughing in the living room when I'm the only one home or something.
Yeah.
Like maybe but that's happened my entire life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe it's just a weird auditory hallucination that I've always had.
So it's happened in different locations.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot there with the human brain that we don't understand, you know?
Yeah, but it's like it's so intriguing though. I mean,
Absolutely.
there's so many things that, like, just somebody whispering your name at night or things like that you're just like, why? I can't explain it. Or somebody touching you. I felt like somebody tickled my gooch here.
Your what?
My gooch. I know it's like kind of like a very violating act that happened. But if
Did you fill out a police report or
my knees were up, and I was about to get out of bed, and somebody went goochie goochie goo. Like it felt like somebody went goochie goochie goo to my like taint, and immediately like with defense mechanism, stretched my legs out and tightened my butt cheeks, and
Yeah.
I was like, get away, like
That's no-go zone there.
yeah, that's a no-go zone, and it was like somebody like I don't know. I heard an old lady died here, but if she's like a pervert, if that was her, I'm just saying, like, why would you
She's
like
a lonely old lady.
like dee dee doo doo? But I mean, there's people be like, oh, you have muscle spasms, this and that. I'm like, yeah, but
Sphincter spasms.
yeah,
Huh? That's
it felt like somebody literally gooching my whatever. So it's like,
and that happened here in this house. Huh?
yeah. It just doesn't make sense to me, and I'm like, I'm just a guy. I don't overlook into it, but it has given me a little complex when I sleep now.
Yeah?
I kind of feel
Well, it's in the back of your mind now.
Yeah,
right?
it's in the back of my mind. Like I don't want it to happen again.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just saying, there's like things you can't explain, and it's I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think about it.
So if you're ever interested in this, the group we hire to be the guides on the tours, they investigate private residences for free.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Wow,
So just a phone call away, they'll come over and check the place out and let you know what they find.
nice.
Yeah. NOPS, North Ohio Paranormal Scientific Society. They're out of Elyria. So they're local.
All right.
So we could find who's touching your no-go zone there.
Right. And there was one time my buddy that lived here before me. He was a drummer, and he would record in here, and he was playing the drums really loud, and the cymbals like. And while he was playing, he heard like a lady or something go, ah, like yelling out in like disgust.
That's what my wife does when I play the drums. That's weird.
I'm like, hey man, I don't know. You never know. But
Yeah, what was really cool is like when you get that stuff on tape. We've had we had a group one time. We were down in the basement of the Palace Theater, and we're doing an EVP session. And there's this kid, a black kid. His name was Jamal, and so when we do an EVP session, we'll do like 6 or 8 minutes of questions, and then we immediately listen back. So there's no funny business going on behind the scenes. And clear as day, we got Jamal.
that was his name.
And he jumped out of his chair.
Freaked out.
Yeah. It was an awesome moment. It's things like that make the tours awesome.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff, not quite that personal, but that like I said, we get EVPs every night.
Yeah, and I didn't know that about the history of the theater too.
Oh yeah,
it was like the first. It was like a stamp on like the first one to do, what was it, a video and sound at the same time, like theater.
The talkies.
Like,
Yeah. That's what they called the movies back in the 20s. The talkies. Yeah, because prior to that, it was silent filmed with the orchestra background, and they were among the pioneers there.
Wow, and the reason why it doesn't have a balcony is because the theater before that collapsed, and they were just like, maybe was it like a what do you call it, where you don't want a superstition thing that they didn't do it?
Well, it was. I mean, you got to put yourself in a 1920s mindset for one, and that's hard to do. But they built the theater without the balcony because they felt that people would be afraid to sit in the seats. And their goal is to sell as many tickets, and they need many seats. So they changed the theater. You could actually Google a picture of the old State Theater, the one that the Palace replaced, and it's a much narrower structure, and it's layered upwards. Right. And they did the opposite with the Palace. They spread it out. Yeah. That's why they shifted the location to a different lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know that. I like that place. Everybody's got a memory. If you're from Lorain, you know the Palace.
Sure.
The chandelier.
What school did you go to?
I started in Lorain. I moved to Vermilion when I was in 6th grade, but Lorain, started with Vincent Academy, and then I went to Lowell. Or I went to
You did
Washington.
go to Lowell.
I went to Washington, then went to Lowell. I was going to go to Whittier, and I know you said there's a short Whittier story in the end. Didn't they demolish that place now?
Yeah, Lowell's gone too.
Lowell's gone, yeah.
So Lowell's gone, Whittier's gone, Homewood's gone, Southview's gone.
Wow.
And
Yeah, it's all gone.
those are all the schools I went to, and then they knocked down the hospital I was born at. So they're just trying to erase my existence.
St.
off the map.
Joseph's?
Yeah, that's where I was born.
Yeah, that's where I was born too.
Yeah.
St. Joseph. But yeah, right before I went to Whittier, I moved to Vermilion, and but yeah, I'm definitely from around there.
That's cool.
I lived by I lived on East 31st Street. It was the last place we lived at, and the weirdest things happened there. It was a brand new home, and we were the first family to move in. They rented it out after they built it, where the grass wasn't even. It was all hay, to get the grass to grow, and we had sprinklers going. Excuse me, and yeah, weird things happened in that place, but I blamed it on me being 10 years old, summoning demons.
Well, yeah, if you're wearing T-shirts like that, yeah.
I would really do it because I felt like I was untouchable, like I was immune to the evil world.
Sure.
Because I was raised up in church, and I just wanted to test the water. I don't know. I was being a dumb, stupid kid. Nothing really. A lot of weird things happened to me, but not as much as my brother. Like I think he got, and he wasn't even. He's like an innocent bystander in this, I think. And if anything happened, it's because of that. I don't know, unless it was cursed land or something. I have no idea.
Well, that's a lot of times the stuff it's attached to the property itself,
Yeah.
or an object, something you might have brought with you. That's also been known to occur.
Yeah, my brother saw a literal shrouded black creature walking in our house once, and it's just like that's like 100% the scariest thing. I wouldn't know what to do. Like seeing it with your own two eyes and hearing something's real scary too, but to actually see something like that.
Yeah.
I've witnessed things, people pounding and seeing like a door shake from somebody pounding on it or a lamp moving. I turned this lamp away because it was like a Precious Moment style lamp, and then it because I didn't want it looking at me when I slept, and then I turned the light back on and it was facing me again. Classic creepy stuff. I'm like, something's messing with me.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I never really seen anything visually, and like my brother, like he said I brought it up to him over Christmas break, and he was like, oh my God, and immediately got chills. Like he was like, dude, I pushed that back in my mind.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to bring that up? Like, damn. I'm like, that really got to him, man. It like changed his life.
A firsthand experience can do that. Yeah. That's I've seen that happen lots of times.
How long did it take you to write this book and put it all together?
I get asked this all the time. I get in trouble about it too. So basically, most of the research was done. We do a fair amount of research for the ghost tours. So this book wasn't even on my radar. The project was brought to me. The publishing editor for the History Press reached out to us about the project. They were looking for someone to put together a book in Lorain County that had expertise in the field, but they didn't want it written from a ghost hunter's perspective.
Yeah.
So I just fit the bill. But we're constantly receiving emails or people coming up to us telling us their ghost stories, their house is haunted, this and that, and I try to keep track as much of that stuff as I can. Some of it is, we can't use it. It's not usable. And most of it's actually not usable in regards to the tours because I can't bring 24 people to your house.
Right.
Right. So, and that's important to us that our tours are interactive. But I do have an interest in it, so I do kind of keep track of that stuff. So, in my arrogance, I look back at this and laugh because my wife, I tell the story and she rolls her eyes because she knew I was full of shit then. But in my arrogance, I'm thinking I'm gonna crank this out in about 2 weeks. I mean, it's just I've already got all the research. I haven't written anything like this. Well, I've never written a book before, but I haven't written anything since college. So, but I'm a voracious reader. Not so much, last couple of years, but I love books. Right. I always have, and that's that's ran in the family. But so I always felt confident I could do it if I found the right subject. So in my head, 2 weeks. I'm going to crank this out in 2 weeks.
Right.
It turned out to be 8 weeks. One, because I overestimated my ability to write. I'm not the fastest typist, and I'd work all day. Look at my word count, and it's 1,088 words.
Right.
Jeez. So if I was to start from scratch, it'd be significantly longer. Like I said, the research. I'm actually working on another project. It's going to be more towards. I want it to be focused on prohibition in the area, which is an interesting subject.
Yeah, I like that Calico Jack story.
Calico Jack,
Calico Jack.
Yeah, that's actually one my dad told me when we were fishing off the pier when I was a kid, and I just kind of put it in the back of my head as some bullshit dad story.
Yeah, I don't want to give away too much of the book.
Oh, that's okay.
But we were talking about. He was talking about prohibition. I brought up Calico Jack because that's one of the stories that has to do with that prohibition era. I love that era.
Yeah,
I like that movie Lawless with. Ever watched that movie Lawless with Tom Hardy? And
I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Check it out. It has Gary Oldman's in it. Tom Hardy. What's his name? He's a young kid. He was in Holes. He kind of went loony. Anyway, and
he's a Hollywood actor.
He was in Transformers. That one guy.
Okay.
Anyway,
yeah.
But yeah, it's a prohibition era. I didn't know a lot of the alcohol came from Canada. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was like Virginia, like moonshiners,
Well, that was part of it. Sure. That was part of it. But like the majority of the alcohol being brought in the States was imported from Canada through this region.
Through this region. That's really cool.
And there's actually, so in doing the research, further research into this book about stuff, I came across some really cool things. Like there's a house in Lorain, on the east side of Lorain, east of the river there, that actually has a tunnel that goes out. There's a door on the beach. And it was built specifically to smuggle the booze in.
Right.
And same thing with are you familiar with the Eagle's Nest?
No.
In Lorain, the building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the basement of that was actually a speakeasy. And there's a tunnel that goes out to the river.
Yeah, there's a tunnel that goes out the river from that Ramsey mansion, too. It's like, or the Bear Caves. It's like, it's like a stone tunnel, and it goes right out to the shore.
9 out of 10 times, it was probably built to smuggle in booze.
Yeah.
See, Canada had a prohibition laws of their own, but the difference was they didn't ban the manufacture of liquor.
Yeah.
So it was consumption. You couldn't consume it, but you can make it and sell it.
Wow.
So that's
interesting.
That's a recipe for Al Capone.
Yeah,
type
for sure. It's for black market. What's weird right now, Lynchburg has the oldest distillery, the Jack Daniel's distillery, and that's a dry county.
Yeah, that's a lot. You see that a lot in Kentucky too. A lot of the bourbon distilleries are.
That's wild. I don't know.
Again, it's stupid laws, and big businesses buy their way out of laws. I'll tell you a perfect example of that is when they age whiskey in an oak barrel. Right. They can only use that barrel one time. Has nothing to do with flavor. Has nothing to do with the usefulness of the barrel. It's all about the Coopers Union, which the Coopers are the ones that manufacture the barrels. They bribe politicians to make it law that they have to use a fresh barrel every batch.
Jeez.
That's the only reason that exists.
That's the only reason. It has nothing to do with the flavor.
So all these laws you talk about that have these vast, far-reaching impacts on society are basically people lining their pockets.
That's what makes bourbon.
I love bourbon.
Yeah, I'm a sour mash guy.
Yeah? I'm down with sour mash, but like I tell you what, treat yourself to a bourbon, Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare. It's the perfect bourbon, and it lives up to its name because you can't find that shit nowhere.
Yeah.
We drove through Kentucky a few months ago. The distillery didn't even have it.
Oh, where do they make it?
It's the high end Buffalo Trace is what it is,
okay.
And it's not high end. It's $35 a bottle.
Wow.
When you can find it, but
it's not that bad.
No, it's not, and it's
like Jack, $35.
Yeah,
for like a liter.
I'll tell you a secret I learned. Indiana, their state taxes on booze is far less. So every few months, we'll just take a road trip in Indiana and stock up on fucking booze.
Oh,
and
there
bring
you
it
go.
home.
There you go.
Yeah.
I gotta look into that one.
No, go to Kroger's because on top of that, if you buy, I think it's every 6 bottles you get 10% off the whole order. So yeah,
I was thinking about, you know how some people have these midlife crises and they'll get like a motorcycle or something? I was going to get a barrel of booze, like a barrel of Jack Daniels. There's old number 7.
There's a barrel of Maker's Mark, right? Is it Maker's? We did it, yeah, with our name on it down at the distillery. So you go down there, and you could have your name put on it, and then when they're going to age it for 14 years. I think they age it for 14 years. They're going to let you know that they're about to crack it open, and you get to go down there and get your bourbon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, I think they lied to me because I signed up to be a what do you call a ambassador?
Bourbon ambassador. Yeah.
Bourbon ambassador, and they said I had my own barrel, but I didn't buy anything. I just signed up.
Yeah, no, that's all it is. Like, so there's a barrel with your name on it. It's got a plaque. Now, yours and 30 other people. It's not just yours. You can have your own dedicated barrel, but it was like, I don't know, $1,600 or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty expensive. But, yeah, so we're not getting anything for free.
Just the barrel is $1,600, you said.
Well, you could pay to have your own barrel, like the booze in it. Yeah. I don't remember how much it costs.
That's like $10,000 or something. I've heard like old number 7 is up to like $10,000.
If it's over $100, I'm out.
Right. Well, that's a whole barrel. That's why I said if it's like a midlife, I'll be like, yeah, I need booze for the rest of my life. This is just what I want to do. I'm going to get a barrel of booze for no reason. Just a big barrel of Jack Daniels in my garage. Why do you have that? I don't know. Just have it.
Why do you have it? Like, what do you mean? Why do I have it? I have it to drink it.
I'm going to drink it forever.
Yeah. Well, a little bourbon. If you have some on the rocks every night, then a barrel won't last you forever.
No, it won't. And you'd probably save money in the long run, if anything. Instead of getting all that.
Of course, you got to carry it here. That's got to be a heavy son of a bitch.
Right. Some other stories here. The Tale of Two Things. Gore Orphanage. I have my own little Gore Orphanage story.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the paranormal, but it's just always been, since it's such a hot spot for kids and teenagers and late night cruises and country cruises and partying.
Oh, yeah.
You could experience a lot just in that aspect. We went there and it was like somebody made a roadblock. We like drove past some people, and you know how it dead ends and you have to come back?
Yeah.
They created a roadblock and we were like trapped. And it was like these
the people?
Yeah,
like would they like lock arms across the road?
It was like it was a couple people, they like wouldn't let us go. I guess we could have like went in the dirt around, but it was we were trying to be like calm and relaxed.
Yeah.
We didn't want to act like make a big deal about anything. Like, all right, what are you guys doing? You're in our way.
Yeah.
And but they were like shirtless, like hillbillies, dude, and partying. And one of them had a gun in his back.
Oh yeah, that's great.
And he was like kept holding on to his gun. And then just saying, what are y'all doing over here? Coming in here, driving all fast. You could have hit one of us, and this and that, and this and that. And we're like, and we're like piled into a truck. It's me and like 5 other friends.
Is this Gore Orphanage or Alabama? Because you're
actually Gore Orphanage. I know. Like, where am I? But yeah, it was like straight up like, redneck type people.
Yeah, yeah.
They were really, really pissed and drunk and pissed, man. They did not want to let us leave, man. They were, but we were really young. I was like 16.
What was their? They were just screwing with you, or there was like a legitimate reason?
They were really mad. They were drunk. I have really no idea. They were just unbelievably upset that we were even there. Mm. And
drinking and firearms don't mix. Man.
No,
that's a bad situation.
And that was the main thing. And we were like, well, we got to get out of here. And he found like a moment where it hit the gas, and he finally hit the gas, and he almost took my friend out of the back because he when the truck went off, one of the dudes headlocked one of my friends in the back of the truck and almost pulled him out, and then slipped, and then he threw the beer can at us and sprayed us all with beer, and we're just flying. And then they're like, don't get, and they started chasing after us, but we got out of there. But it was just a slight little moment that happened at the Gore Orphanage that I'll never forget.
That's a different kind of scary.
Just being 16 years old, like we wanted to get freaked out. Yeah, that's scarier to me than ghosts.
People are definitely.
Yeah, people people will provide you with the most fucked up things than any ghost can give you.
Yeah.
Like
When they're drinking
Ted Bundy. But yeah, it was scary. Being 16 too, it's like your like hormones are heightened. Everything's just like,
oh yeah, you got your adrenaline flowing anyway.
Yeah. And we're just like, get out of here! Oh my god.
Yeah,
it was cool though. It was an experience. But yeah, that's the only thing I ever had happen there. But it's so legendary. I remember my dad talking about it when I was growing up, and when he was a kid, there was like part of the wall was still up.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but that was like probably 50 years ago.
Yeah, the masonry, I would assume. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that picture I published at the original building, that's actually the first time that photo's ever been published. That was given to me by a guy that it's kind of his hobby to collect local historic photos. Al Leiby. He's actually a retired Elyria police detective. And
the photo in the book?
Yeah, of the Gore orphanage there.
Oh, okay.
And there's some other ones you can find. There's some at the Library of Congress that are access to the public, but it's really interesting that building was it was kind of a celebrity in itself. It was a very unique. It involved a lot of different architectural.
The Swift Mansion?
The Swift Mansion, Rosedale. Joseph Swift named it Rosedale.
Yeah, Rosedale.
Yeah, and I don't know if you probably read this in the book, but a lot of people don't realize, but when you look at the library here in Vermilion.
Shares the same structure?
It's modeled after it.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, I could see it.
Yeah.
I have to, like, when I'm thinking about the library, I'm like, yeah, they have the 4 pillars. Okay. Yeah. I don't go to the library enough. And I go there to vote.
Oh, that's your voting.
It's my voting spot. Yeah.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that you vote.
Yeah, I got the sticker, man. Ohio, love voting. What else we got here? But yeah, man, I'm gonna wrap it up. I guess this is there's so much more we could talk about. The rest area story, creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy. The Tale of the Two Theaters. You can check that story out in the book. What's really good about this book, everybody, is that it's not something you don't have to read it all in one, even though you could in one sitting. It's not a long book, 100 pages or something. But it's one of those things you could pick up and put down and pick up and put down.
Yeah.
It's real simple to read. A dumb like me was totally involved with it and my reading comprehension isn't the best. And I loved it. So
I wrote the book for you specifically.
Yes. He's like, he knows what my English teachers have mentioned. But Haunted America, Eric Defibaugh, Haunted Lorain County.
Yeah.
Where can people find this book and pick it up?
So the books are available in every Giant Eagle in the county. It's at Costco. It's also on Amazon. You could buy it directly at historypress.com. It's also at a couple of local shops, Burning River Boutique here in Vermilion. There's Puffers, Roxy's in Elyria. Puffers Boutique is in Amherst. What am I missing? Oh, we just recently put it in a little cafe on the east side of Lorain. It's called Driftwood Cafe.
Okay.
Great little breakfast place, mom and pop kind of shop, and so I give them a cut if they post my book up there in the window. So
awesome. If you can, just message me on Facebook, private message me, like some links if you can. If there's any links for people to look up, and I'll put those in the description for the video. And yeah, man, dude, thank you so much, dude.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's been fun. Right on,
Appreciate it. Eric Defibaugh, everybody. And you are, I'm sorry, I forgot already.
I'm Judy.
The boss.
The boss, Judy,
boss.
off to the side.
Yeah. My handler.
The handler. All right, thanks, guys. All right, to play us out, I don't know. I never have this prepared. To play us out, what can we do? What can we play?
No Christmas music.
No Christmas music.
Oh.
Screw it. Hold on. Peace.